One of the hardest lessons that I had to learn as I grew in my spiritual walk and grew in my discipline and discipleship to God was about love. And I feel like it's very difficult for some of us to fathom it and some of us to even truly encompass what it means to say that God is love, because we have a hard time living and loving amongst the people that we share this world with. And it's always interesting to me when you see people who are very prophetic of their love for God, yet they have they detest the people who are around them. And it kind of doesn't make sense, because I feel like in everything we should do, we should exercise love. And that's something that I'm getting better with each day. I'm far from perfect, and I probably will never be perfect. But I know that in my heart, I keep my eye focused on God and the love that He would have me to practice and exercise to others around me. So in 1 John chapter 4 verse 8, it reads, "Anyone who does not love does not know God, because God is love." And that really resonates with me, because God gives us love. Love is purely from God. Someone has to, or being has to have and possess so much love to send their only son to die on our behalf so that we can have life, that we can live through him and still carry out our day to day and be able to allow grace and mercy to just be over our lives. And a lot of times we take it for granted. I know I do. I know I've taken it for granted more in the past than I do now. And being woke and recognizing, what I have to do for God's kingdom is very important to me, and that helps keep me in check for me exercising love in all that I do. There are people who I do not prefer to be around, I'll be honest with you. There are people who I would rather not be in my company, because I know what they may represent, or where they're not willing to yield and fall surrender to God's will. So I cannot necessarily entertain such individuals. But that does not remove the fact that I love them. That does not remove the fact that I would not want any harm to come their way. That does not remove the fact that I wouldn't keep a loving and open mind to whatever situation they were going through, because I understand that it is impossible for me to truly understand someone else's perspective, because I have not lived through their shoes. So for anyone who I may have fallen short and not seemed as though I was showing the best love that I could show, the love that God has taught me to show people, the love that God has disciplined me to exemplify in all that I do, I ask for God's forgiveness, and I ask for your forgiveness, because I don't ever want to fall short of what God has for us, and I never want to fall short of what He has placed inside of us to live by. We don't need people who haphazardly serve the Lord, and we don't need people in the world who haphazardly love one another. If we were to focus on loving each other, we would solve a lot of issues in the world. And I know that is a task that's easier said than done. So I just pray everyone's strength in that task. But ultimately, take the time to check yourself and recognize that God is love. And if you have God in your life, then that means that you should have love in your heart. And that love should extend to anyone and everything that is around you. Take care of yourself. Take care of the people who you have near you, because these people they need you just as much as you may need them. And sometimes we don't realize what we may need from one another. But that's why I always like to refer back to God in prayer and truly just see what it is, God, that I don't want, but what I may need. And that's why I really appreciate God placing certain people in my life that I know I didn't necessarily want, but I know I needed. And over the months and years and weeks and days and hours and minutes, I've learned to cherish these people and to love them wholeheartedly, where I know that these are people who are going to be with me for the rest of my life. So I just ask you guys to pour into someone the same way that God has poured into us, and make sure that you're exercising love in everything that you do. So I hope you guys be blessed and have a wonderful day.